When Clara Hughes first told her friends she wanted to build an invisible house, most of them laughed. Not because they thought it was impossible, but because Clara was the least mysterious person they knew. She was warm, chatty, always baking something, and forever inviting people over for coffee. Still, after 20 years of city life, noise, traffic, and neighbors close enough to hear every cupboard door, she wanted a home that felt almost hidden. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. The idea came during a quiet walk through the countryside. Clara noticed how a still pond could make trees, clouds, and birds appear twice, as if nature had painted over itself. That was the feeling she wanted, a house that did not shout for attention but gently disappeared into the landscape. So she bought a narrow plot beside a small patch of woodland and worked with a local architect to create a compact home wrapped in mirrors and glass. From a distance, it reflects the sky, trees, and grass so well that visitors often slow down, blink, and ask the same question: wait, where is the house? The entrance is the first trick the house plays. Clara did not want a giant front door announcing itself from the driveway, so the main doorway is tucked into a dark timber recess between two mirrored walls. During the day, the glass reflects branches and clouds, making the front of the house look more like a gap in the woods than a building. Only a small gravel path gives the secret away. Clara says deliveries are the funniest part of living there. Drivers often call from the road, convinced the address is wrong. To make life easier, she added a low stone marker near the gate and a warm light beside the entrance. At night, the house changes completely. The mirror effect softens, the glass turns dark, and the doorway glows like a quiet lantern. It feels private without feeling cold. Clara wanted guests to feel curious, not confused, so the entrance gives just enough welcome while keeping the home's playful disguise intact. Inside, the living room is surprisingly cozy. From the outside, people expect something sharp, futuristic, and maybe a little uncomfortable. Instead, Clara chose soft cream sofas, warm wooden floors, thick rugs, and low shelves filled with books, board games, and pottery. The glass wall runs along one side of the room, but the furniture keeps the space from feeling like a showroom. The best seat is Clara's favorite armchair, placed beside the largest window. From there, she can watch rabbits crossing the grass, rain rolling down the glass, and sunsets stretching across the mirrored exterior. In winter, a small wood-burning stove becomes the heart of the room. Its glow reflects softly in the glass, making the whole space feel warmer. Clara says the secret to living in a mirror and glass house is balance. You need reflections, she jokes, but you also need somewhere to put your feet up with a blanket and a cup of tea. The kitchen is the most practical room in the house, which is exactly how Clara wanted it. She loves cooking, so she refused to let the design become too precious. There are deep drawers, durable stone counters, open wooden shelves, and a long island where friends naturally gather. One mirrored panel outside the kitchen reflects the herb garden, making basil, thyme, and rosemary appear to wrap around the room. Clara also designed the kitchen to solve a common problem in glass homes: too much heat and glare. The windows are positioned to catch morning light, while slim roof overhangs help shade the room later in the day. Hidden blinds can drop down when the sun gets too strong. Nothing feels overcomplicated. It is a kitchen that looks dramatic from the garden but works like a normal, hard-working family kitchen inside. Clara still spills flour, burns toast occasionally, and keeps a messy drawer full of takeaway menus, which makes the beautiful space feel real. The bedroom is Clara's quietest room, and also the one she protected most carefully from the invisible idea. While one side opens toward the trees, the rest of the room is wrapped in soft plaster walls and linen curtains. She wanted to wake up with nature nearby, but not feel exposed while brushing her hair or searching for socks. In the morning, the room fills with gentle light filtered through leaves. Clara says it feels like sleeping inside a very elegant treehouse. The bed is low, the colors are calm, and the storage is hidden behind simple wooden panels. Nothing interrupts the view. At night, the curtains close fully, turning the room into a snug little cabin. That was important to Clara, because the house may look daring from the outside, but it still had to support ordinary life. A home can be clever, she says, but your bedroom should never make you feel like you're on display. The bathroom is where Clara allowed herself a little luxury. It has a deep freestanding bath placed beside a frosted glass panel, so daylight comes in without revealing anything from outside. The mirrored exterior continues around this part of the home, but privacy film and careful planting make the space feel secure. From inside, the view is soft and green, almost like looking through mist. There is also a walk-in shower, a heated floor, and a small window that opens just enough to let in fresh air after a hot bath. Clara kept the materials simple: pale stone, brushed metal, and oak. She says people always expect the bathroom to be wildly dramatic, but she wanted it to feel calm and easy to clean. Her favorite detail is the small shelf beside the bath, just wide enough for a candle, a book, and a cup of tea. For a house famous for disappearing, this room is all about slowing down and being completely present. At the back of the house is Clara's studio, the room that made the whole project feel worth it. She works as a botanical illustrator, so light matters. The studio faces north to avoid harsh glare, with a long desk running beneath the window. From her chair, Clara can draw leaves, flowers, and insects while looking directly at the garden that inspires them. The studio is also the most playful part of the house. Outside, the mirrored panels reflect the planting beds so well that the room almost vanishes behind foxgloves and tall grasses. Inside, however, it is full of color. Paint tubes, pressed flowers, sketchbooks, postcards, and half-finished drawings taped to the wall. Clara likes that contrast. The outside is quiet and almost invisible. The inside is busy, creative, and unmistakably hers. Visitors often say this room explains the whole house. It was never about hiding from the world completely. It was about making enough peace and space to enjoy it properly. The final surprise is the terrace. It sits slightly lower than the house, so from the garden it almost disappears behind grasses and wild flowers. Clara uses it for breakfast in summer, evening drinks with friends, and long phone calls with her sister. A simple wooden table, a few weathered chairs, and string lights keep it relaxed rather than glossy. Living in an invisible home does come with odd little chores: cleaning fingerprints, protecting birds with subtle glass markings, and windows that require more care than brick walls ever would. Clara accepts all of it with good humor. To her, the house is not a magic trick, but a daily reminder to live more lightly. It reflects the weather, the seasons, and the mood of the landscape around it. Some days it shines silver, some days it almost disappears into the rain. And on clear evenings, when the sunset turns the glass gold, Clara still stands outside smiling, amazed that her quiet dream became real.